Yo, what's up? It's Indigo, aka Refined Divine Slime, and I'm here today to talk about Compassionism, a political approach. I wanted to share some of the ideas I've been thinking about as a radical, empathetic person, as a Buddhist, as someone who feels frustrated and stuck with a lot of the common narratives I'm seeing on either side, and feeling like we have to dig a little bit deeper collectively to really achieve some positive change. And there's a ton of divisive things going on right now, so hopefully this can touch everyone. During this video, I also will be having some of my products. A lot of them are handmade, all of them are designed by me, and some of my art made by me. They'll be over there on this side of the screen. I'm doing this to, try to show you some of what I got going on, show you my brand. I am a thinker, but I'm also a creator, so I definitely want y'all to get hip, and I hope you enjoy this and the topic of this video. Stay tuned. What if we decided everyone matters, and political goals ought to account for the healing and progress of everyone equitably, withholding unproductive judgment and disdain? Note, this means a political motivation should strive to free the oppressed as well as the oppressor from mental and spiritual illness causing harm, or causing him to disrupt the ecosystem. So I'm saying I think oppressors are sick. I don't think they're just evil. I think they're sick. Literally sick. Like, not like ill sick, but like they are sick in the head and they need help. It is perfectly normal and moral for a victim to hate their oppressor, but there are built-in limitations to that position. I didn't say withhold from morally justifiable disdain, but unproductive disdain. How productive can hate be? Perhaps stepping outside of one's identity as a victim and observing both yourself and your oppressor objectively can lead to more effective means of revolution. So I've been through this myself, feeling like a victim and feeling really stuck in that identity box, and realizing, okay, yeah, maybe according to certain axes of measurement, statistically I'm oppressed, but spiritually, do I have to be? Creatively, do I have to be? Culturally, do I have to be? I choose to believe that if you are in a colonial lens or a Western lens who's observing the way they oppress you and the way you are oppressed, naturally their frame is going to leave out parts of the truth, parts of reality. So I say all this to say, I think for those who are ready, for those who have the space, who have the means, for those who are capable, for those who have been waiting to escape this victim mindset, victim identity, I think stepping out of hate and stepping into, looking at everything objectively, realizing, okay, yeah, I have these things that I'm statistically, prone to, whatever, systemic inequity or whatever, but look at who's creating it. Is he doing well? Really? Is he spiritually well? Absolutely not. If you are a victim, if you feel that you're a victim of oppression, you are probably more in touch with yourself and reality than the people oppressing you. And you might feel like you have no edge, but that is your edge. Your edge is maybe you can see reality in a deeper level. Maybe you will be part of the group of people who will lead the world into healing, who will lead the world into our next phase, because obviously billions of people are getting tired of what's been going on and how the world works, and we're waiting for something new. Well, who's going to be the ones who create that new thing? Maybe that will be you, because you are seeing the truth. You are seeing what's actually going on. So I say that as an affirmation and also a call into, okay, can we embrace some sort of radical love? Can we embrace some sort of understanding our enemy? Can we embrace can we acknowledge that we don't need to just defeat our oppressors? We need to heal them, because time after time, there's colonizers after colonizers after colonizers, Rome after Rome after Rome after Rome falling. If we do not heal the mindset that creates these colonizers, that creates these fascists, then they're going to keep propagating. So it's like an existential human issue that we do something to heal these mindsets that are creating all of these insane illusions and issues. We cannot imagine a better future for humanity if we do not expeditiously put our anger aside and find a cure, as esoteric as it may be, for the kind of psychopathy, sociopathy, and narcissism present in astounding numbers amongst the ruling class and its overt, covert, conscious and unconscious enforcing agents. The root of the problem is not capitalism or fascism, but instead the mental, spiritual states from which these ideologies originate and are carried out. One who can find the cure to these mental illnesses forfeits the material means to revolution as a primary concern. Once those toxic mindsets are healed, material healing naturally follows. Why spend eternity fighting the effects rather than resolving its cause? Is fascism not a contrived ontological outcry from the deeply disturbed? Is the pride in being a fascist not simply saying, I am profoundly hurt and confused? So, I say all this to say, we are in the middle of mental warfare. It is happening. Yes, sometimes there's bombs, there's tanks, there's guns. That happens, but the overwhelming majority of war that we're experiencing is on the internet. It's in the cyberspace. It's related to information. Who can control information? Who can control the popular viewpoints? Who can push the narrative? Whoever can push their narrative across is winning the war. And there's companies and corporations and governments spending billions of dollars to get people to think a certain way now. So it is true when I say we're in mental warfare. It is very real, and it affects what happens on the ground. It affects who gets the bombs and the tanks and the ammunition. It affects who gets to try to justify a war. And we have been behind on combating this propaganda. So I guess I say all that to say, how do we find this cure? How can we people need to be working on this. Obviously, Western psychologists, no offense, some of them ain't really doing shit when it comes to dealing with sociopathy, psychopathy. It's been said there's no cure, they don't want to seek treatment, blah, blah, blah. Okay then, well, we can't just have them run amok, running the world, acting crazy. Like, we need a viable solution to this. And I know this is like a very strange way to think, but most of the time we think of problems that this is a bad guy, that's a bad guy, blah, 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 and they're static, they're going to stay the same, and then they have access to all this power. Is it possible as a collective, the same way they psyop us, the same way they mind control, hypnotize us, the same way they socialize us, why can we not do a counter mental warfare on the people trying to control us who are psychopaths? Can we not counter influence them? Can we not counter mind control them? Can we not counter hypnotize them? Like, is it impossible? I really think of a bunch of leftist, creative, experimental type of people who are interested in psychology got together and actually planned out how can we combat psychopathic fascist rulers as a collective using mental programming towards them. I feel like there's a lot we can get done there, and I hope more people start thinking in that direction. So my biggest critique of the left today, even the far left, is that it is far too concerned, but understandably so, with material conditions, as if material is the basis of reality, when science has proven for decades now that materialism is a broken model of reality. Reality is more like a relativity soup defined by relationships and the function of systems and perspective. How much does revolution rely on changing minds? I would say 100%. If we could change everyone's mind, we could change the world overnight. I think we should be focused just as much on changing minds, just as much, if not more, on changing minds as we're on changing systems, as we're on changing leaders in power, as we're on changing legislation. We need to prioritize changing minds, not just on an ideological level, not just on an information level, but on some fundamental levels. Obviously, there's some people who are completely lost on the most basic understanding of human empathy, collectivity, interconnectedness. There's some people profoundly lost. We need to understand, how does collective reprogramming look, and how can we start getting involved in that, and how can we start normalizing spiritual and epistemological health and clarity among any part of the political spectrum, and especially in the context of liberation work. So if you are interested in anything I just talked about, and if you find yourself encountering narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, whether it be in institutions, whether it be in political spaces, conversations, or just your personal life, because they're honestly everywhere now, here's some methods to disarm them. And you can apply this in a revolutionary context. For example, a lot of leftists falls for this. A certain type of sociopath, I won't name, gets in your comments and starts arguing about how doing very morally corrupt things, very evil things, justifying how that's actually okay and it's completely justified. A lot of leftists will literally argue with them in the comments and be like, well this, well that, well facts. It's like, honey, the problem is not facts for them. They are morally bankrupt. So these are some ways to approach them. We cannot just argue with a sociopath on a logical level. Trust me, there is some spiritual darkness there that we don't want to engage with in the wrong way. So, here we go. Don't fall for their trap. When a crazy person gets on my social media and starts commenting crazy stuff, guess what I do? I might block them. I don't have to always block them. I might block them. I can let them embarrass themselves sometimes. I can let the rest of the comment section handle them. Often, I either just ignore them. I go put a heart and do heart hands and say something nice to everyone else in the comments, and then I leave them unresponded to. Or I just block them, or I just delete their comment. If it doesn't seem like it's serving my post, if it's not actually inciting any important conversation, it's just BS wasting everyone's energy, I just delete their comment. So don't fall into their trap. This applies to real life too. Someone says something bonkers, something insane to you, and they are expecting you to respond and, engage with that. You don't have to engage. One of my favorite ways to disarm a psychopath, especially one I'm not very close to, or a sociopath or narcissist, just walk away. They say some crazy shit to me, I don't even deal with it. I just turn around. It's like, now don't try that with me. I'm not going to entertain that. And they won't say it to you anymore because they can't get anything out of you. You have to be able to set boundaries. Sometimes they're a gaslighter. Sometimes they don't care about common decency or respect. They're going to try to play around with you and play word games and be manipulative. You don't even have to tell them your boundary out loud. Just show them. Just walk away. Just leave them alone. Hang up. Just hang up. Like, nope, that doesn't work. Try again. Like, that's not it. So don't fall for the trap. However it is that you need to assert that you're not going to get involved in some BS, assert that however you can. I highly suggest not even arguing about it, not even explaining to them, oh, I'm not doing this because they already know what they are. They already been told that probably thousands of times. Don't even try to waste your energy pretending that they're unaware you're going to educate them. Literally just show them with your energy and with your actions, I'm not engaging in that. Don't fuel their supply. They get off on petty debates and nasty arguments. Trust me, think about it. Don't you think someone with a hateful ideology has already gotten to 100 arguments about their hateful ideology? Do you really think you're going to accomplish anything talking to them again? The best that you can do for them is make them feel like they miss out on you. There's a reason why they want to talk to you. There's a reason why they're interested in you. They like your energy. While you withdraw from them, they feel rejected. They didn't get anything out of you. They didn't even get an explanation. They didn't even get a petty argument or a debate. They thought they knew all the triggers. They thought, oh, every leftist, every this, every that, they're definitely going to get mad if I say X, Y, or Z. They have these triggers on lock, and they just say them just to get to you, just to get a reaction out of you. Prove them wrong. Walk away. Don't engage. Start talking about something else. Like, that's interesting. It's nice weather today, isn't it? Just start talking about something else. Don't even bother. If you know it's ridiculous, don't even bother. Let them ask you a question from a real place. If they really want to have a genuine conversation with you, let them ask you a question from an earnest place. Ground them. Get out of this cerebral land of ideological arguments and ground them in some reality somewhere, somehow. Do not allow them to steal energy from you that could otherwise be preserved. Think about it. You're going to encounter a bunch of assholes in your life. If you engage with everyone, or most of them, or even half of them, how much will it actually serve you and your mission? Often it's a waste of time. I've learned there's some people, I'm just not going to bother talking to them. I'm just not going to bother. What are they going to do? And a lot of them, they have these hateful ideologies and they're not even a part of any group. They're not organized. They're just a loner who sits in their basement and they're keyboard warrioring for some fascist ideology, for some fascist regime, and they feel so cool because they're making all these comments. They're part of the bot farm. Oh well, just ignore them. I will tell you something. A certain entity has made and spent a bunch of money on bot farms just to justify their war crimes. Waste their money. How do we waste their money? Do not respond to the comments. Just delete, block, or ignore. Don't respond. They love making a case in your comment section. Your post wasn't supposed to be about them. Don't let them steal the attention, the spotlight. Don't even argue with them. We all know right from wrong. If you know right from wrong, you know if it's complicated, if someone needs an explanation, they're too far gone for your comment section. Do not respond to them. Express concern. Ask, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Is everything okay? This is a great way to disarm them, because instead of giving them their fix of wanting to be argued with, wanting to be debated with, wanting to push and play around in your boundaries and see how much they can, manipulate you. Instead, you have become the caring person checking in on them. Are you okay? They might not want to answer. They might say, sure, I'm fine, whatever. But it definitely psychs them out a little bit. They're like, that was weird. They just, I thought I was supposed to make them mad. Now they're asking me if I'm okay. They're not going to know how to approach you. You threw them a curveball. Get them to talk about themselves without feeling the need to be defensive. So if you want to play, you can play dumb sometimes. They're just on one. They're trying to get some sort of reaction out of you. They're talking about this and that. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's a really interesting perspective. I've actually never heard that before. Tell me more. How did you come to this perspective? Like, tell me about your life. What led you to feel this way? I really want to understand. Hopefully you can do this in front of an audience. Don't use a condescending tone. Don't be, smart aleck or whatever. Don't be insulting. Be genuinely warm and welcoming and make them feel safe. Make them feel safe to expose themselves. Ask them as many questions as they're willing to answer. They often like to talk about themselves. Wow, that's really cool. Tell me more. Explain that. Oh, wait, I heard about XYZ. Do you agree with that too? That's so fascinating. Explain it to me. I've never met someone like this. I've always wanted to understand. Get them to talk about themselves. If you do it in front of an audience, guess what? Something is going to come out their mouth while they're comfortable that's absolutely bonkers, and everyone's going to hear it. And they're going to be like, what did he just say? Let them expose themselves. Make them feel safe. Make them feel righteous. And ask them, try to get to know about them. Let them expose themselves. Don't judge it. Just leave everybody else up to be the judge. Don't frame them either. Just leave everybody else up to be the judge. Let them analyze for themselves, because once they're not feeling nervous and defensive anymore, they're gonna let some cat out the bag. And certain types of people who believe in hateful ideologies, they have Freudian slips all the time. The truth eventually comes out in some way. So you'd be surprised how much just asking them to expose themselves can do. Yeah. for the purposes of research and getting them to expose themselves. Alright, so how to approach victims of oppression. So we talked all about how to approach oppressors a new way, a different way, not super mainstream way, in my opinion. I don't really see people doing that often. But how to approach victims. Always listen. Even if you don't agree with everything they're saying, even if it seems like they're obviously wrong about something, or even if they're slightly problematic as they are sharing their trauma with you, those are all normal things. It's okay for you to have an opinion about someone who's suffering from some sort of oppression and the way they express themselves. But it may not always be the right time or place for you to share your opinion with them. Why? Because if you're giving them space to express themselves, just let it be. Accept them. Accept them where they are. Accept them if they're imperfect. That's totally fine. Just listen. Always listen. See what you can learn from them instead of feeling like you have to tell them something or you have to teach them something. Create a reciprocal balance in communication and make them feel loved and welcomed. Tolerate and give grace for imperfection. I just said that. Tolerate and give grace for imperfection. There's been, some people, for example, if your oppressor waves a certain flag and then you start hating everybody who also stands under that flag, people are like, oh my God, but that's terrible. Well, put yourself in their shoes. Maybe that flag has always meant to them, you might die now, or you're about to get effed up, or something horrible is about to happen, or you're about to be bombed, or you're about to be kidnapped, or one of your friends or family members about to be bombed or kidnapped. Maybe every time they saw that flag, it meant something horrific, and they have a negative association with that flag, and it's not necessarily your place to police where they are in their progression of trauma and unpacking PTSD as it relates to what sort of wacky associations that come out of that. Give people a little bit of grace. There's a difference between a fanatic who loves hating people and a traumatized person who maybe has misunderstood or represented the face of their oppressor or, villainizer in their mind. There's a difference between those two. Strive to empower, amplify, rather than save. It is not your job to save anyone. It's your job to empower and amplify. If you want to save someone, it means you want to be a superhero. You want the pat on the back. You want the recognition. You want the pride, the righteousness. If you want to be an accomplice to someone, if you want to stand in solidarity with someone, that would mean you want to empower them to be more capable and have more access to freeing themselves as you help alongside them. That you want to give them the spotlight as you empower them to also fight for their own freedom. Their freedom fight is not about you. If you want to be an accomplice, be an accomplice. But make sure you remember who the spotlight belongs to and whose story this really is. Empower and amplify. Yes, it's fine to speak on someone's behalf sometimes in good faith. Yes, it's fine to educate others. Yes, it's fine to utilize your privilege, your access to certain spaces, even utilize your, for example, whiteness or Americanness to be able to reach other white people or American people or Western, civilized people from a different angle where, they're not putting all their implicit bias on you the same way they would from the person you're trying to speak up for. Go ahead and use that privilege for the right reason. But remember to amplify those voices. Remember, whenever it's appropriate, whenever you are able to, whenever you have the audience right, or even if you don't have the right audience, continue to amplify those voices. Amplify their voices. Number 4, humanize rather than fetishize. Someone was telling me recently, I'm so tired of the weird comments and these reporters' pages, these reporters from a certain place where a lot of things are happening. I'm tired of these weird comments from white Americans kind of fetishizing the reporter instead of focusing on the task at hand, which is what they're reporting. It's easy to fall into this trap. You feel like you care deeply, you're being moved, they shocked you, you're shell-shocked, you're like, oh my god, I'm being woken up, etc. I feel for their cause, and you might cling to this one influencer who's talking about it, or whatever. You might cling to these sad pictures, or these kids, or whatever it is. Do not fetishize anyone struggling with any sort of oppression. Do not fetishize any group struggling with oppression. If you think their culture is beautiful, celebrate it like you would celebrate any other culture. If you think, some creator, content creator, whatever, is wonderful, celebrate them the way you would celebrate any other, someone else doing that type of work. Do not fetishize anyone and their movements. Humanize them. Put them on even keel with you. See eye to eye as a human being. Realize they are no smaller or less than or less powerful or whatever than you. Y'all are both human. There's no reason to, be weird like that. Number 5, acknowledge systemic inequality and hostilities. There's a lot of people who did Black Lives Matter protests and, whatnot. And I love black people and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. You love black people. Cool. You're tired of police brutality. Honey, there is a whole massive system with complex traps that are meant to oppress black people. It is so much bigger than police brutality. Please inform yourself on the system. Not just black people. There's every person, every type of minority or minority, whatever, that suffers from some type of oppression. There's often a system. It's not just people being racist anymore. It's not just people being racist. There's an entire system, how they're portrayed in the news. How do their economic systems work? How does their housing system work? How does their healthcare system work? You need to be looking into all of these things and understanding how the racism is embedded into societal systems, not just people's mindsets. That they go hand in hand. Number 6, study and analyze from their lens. If you're woken up already, stop watching other American reporters, other American content creators, or whatever, trying to cover someone else's story from a different country. Or stop watching white activists talk about black rights. You know what I mean? Stop watching someone outside of the group looking in to get all your information. If they got you into it, if you got your feet wet with them and now you're comfortable, okay, read a book by an author from someone who is a part of that group you're studying. Listen to the voices from that group, from their lens. I guarantee you're going to learn something profound and you're going to get a perspective that other people outside of that group couldn't really give, even if they were doing their best to show what's going on. So be sure to do that and make that the majority of your study. You really want to be an activist, you want to be a leftist, or you want to make a positive impact, you want to stay informed. Stop just reading stuff that seems most accessible to you, most packaged for you. Start making the majority of your study coming from the voices in the situation. That is profoundly important. Number 7, they are not a monolith. If you want to talk about a minority that you want to stand up for, do not frame them as if they're all the same, that every single member of that community has the same problems and behaves the same and thinks the same things and believes the same things. They don't. Get exposed to the spectrum there. Get exposed to the diversity within their community. And please do not portray them as if they're a monolith. Those perpetuate some dangerous stereotypes, even subversively or inadvertently. Even when you're trying to say something positive, you can tend to lean into perpetuating essentialism, which can be used as a tool for discrimination. Build and cultivate community on their terms. On their terms. So a lot of people want to get involved in revolution. They say, "Look, this is what I want to do. This is my idea. I think I should do this. I think this is the solution. This is my ideology. This is how I want to fix it." Well, once you step into someone else's revolution, it's not about your idea about how you should fix it. You should be asking them, "Hey, what can we do? How can I help? What are you guys working on? How can I be of service to you? You know what I mean? How can I get involved in what you guys have already started building?" Maybe you've just gotten into advocating for a certain group. They've been doing it their whole life. They're more of, you're not even, it's not even comparable. They're expert. You're just getting started. You're a rookie. Definitely build community on their terms. Ask them, how do they want you to be involved? How do they want you to take space? How close do they want you to be? Maybe they don't want you all up in their grill being buddy-buddy. Maybe they do. Figure that out and be very keen to respect their boundaries. Alright, so I hope I gave you a holistic perspective of how to deal with either side of the situation. And I just want you to know, if you're watching this video and you're interested in something like this, you are probably a rare person and you are aligned and set up to make a profound impact, and you are the light. And I just want you to know, keep shining. Don't let the haters get you down. Don't let people judging you get you down. Don't let the moderates get you down. I had a section about moderates, but I don't even want to get into that. But don't let them get you down. Don't let them dull your fire. Don't let them make you less passionate. Don't let them make you become nihilist and escapist and apathetic like them. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep researching. Keep pushing. Keep experimenting. Keep trying new ideas. Keep building community. Keep educating yourself. And you will change something. You are going to contribute something very important. Never give up. Just realize it. We're going through, I know some people are spiritual, some are not. I'm not here to be woo-woo or crazy, but I want to tell you, we're going through a timeline shift. What I mean by that is because the mental paradigms of the people in this world are changing. Our world is changing. So when I say timeline shift, I mean the same as what mindsets used to imply what the future would look like. Because we think like this, the next 10 years will be this. It's changing to, oh, now we think like this, so the next 10 years will be something else. That's what I mean by timeline shift. That we're going through a timeline shift, and you are the seed. You are the beginning. You are the frontier. You are at the cutting edge of it. So you might feel like, oh my God, am I crazy? I know I'm not crazy. The world is crazy. What is going on? Why do I feel so alone? Blah, blah, blah. You might feel all those feelings. That means you're doing very, very good. If you feel like, I think so different, so much more radically different than most of the people around me, good. That means you're a leader. That means you're creative. That means you're gonna be ushering in that new timeline. So hold firm in your conviction, hold firm in your beliefs, hold firm in your action and your dedication, and keep pushing forward, because things will change. It's going to take some time, but we need people like you to be the anchor, to guide and anchor those around you as we're making this transition. It must happen. We're late. It should have happened yesterday. We were needing this 10 years ago. We were needing this decades ago. It's time. It's overdue. You are in the exact right place. So never stop. If you like this information, you like this kind of thing, please like this video. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification. Stay tuned for more videos like this. And if you have any requests, I'm happy to do a video on any topic you want. Just leave it down in the comments and let's see what we can do together. Thank you. I love you, and have a blessed, wonderful, profound, transcendent day. Goodbye.